Going from zero to $10,000 a month is actually simple if you have the right framework. In this video, I want to talk through the framework that my team and I use, that I use with my clients. And there are obviously things that you can do within these. There's a difference between just having one avatar and creating the right avatar. But I want to talk through, if you do just these three things, it makes it very hard to fail. In fact, I've found this to be true across multiple businesses that I've run at this point. Every single time I started a business and simplified it down to its most core aspects, the most simple parts of the business, we've been really successful. Every time I've tried to introduce mass amounts of complexity with AI and crazy automations, we've just gotten stuck and either treaded water for an extended period of time or even lost money. So I'm a massive proponent of making incredibly simple businesses. And on top of that, it allows you to actually live your life. If you're anything like me, you wanted to start an online business because you actually wanted freedom. Down the description, there's a video that goes over my full training to go from zero to $10,000 a month. I also talk to you about how I help people do this every single day, pretty much guaranteed. And you're welcome to book a call and see if you qualify and we can work together if it's a good fit. But I want to talk through this framework and how if you follow it, it's very, very hard not to hit 10K a month and develop the lifestyle that you want. And the funny thing is, the way this works, so there are three kind of core principles that we like to think about when we're thinking about what kind of business do you want to use to get to 10K. You want it to be, number one, simple, which is one of the most important things to me because I want my time freedom, right? Like I want to boil it down to I have to do 1, 2, 3 things every single day consistently over a long enough period of time. And I get to live my life outside of that. Number two is it's predictable. As long as I do those actions, the result, the 10K a month, is predictable. And number three, it's scalable. And this model is unbelievably scalable. Doing 50 to 100K with this is not difficult. I know if you haven't hit 10K yet, that sounds ridiculous. But that's the way we've built out actually our coaching program is we help when clients first come in, we work in our first coaching program in the foundations program on going from 0 to 10K. And then in the second step, which is our scaling program, we go from that 10K to 15, 20K mark all the way up to 50 to 100K by taking what we've developed here, the foundation, and then implementing this component, it's a high ticket service or coaching or something that goes to your avatar, but it goes to the people in your niche or your avatar with like the top 1% with the most money. You find a way to serve them at a higher level than you were already doing with the majority of your avatar or your audience. So let's talk through this. And first of all, I hope I just encourage you to actually simplify your business, to identify everything you're doing that is extra, everything you're doing that is distracting you from actually accomplishing the things you need to accomplish in your business. If you were to look at my business right now, I have this right here, my avatar nailed down. I have a multi-page document that goes over all the details. I know a lot about what their past experiences are. I know some of their core interests. I know their biggest pain points. So when I communicate, I know I am talking to that person. Like those of you who this relates to more heavily are my core avatar. And obviously people still watch the channel who aren't that core avatar, but I am always talking to this person because I deeply and intimately understand who this person is. Hint, hint, a lot of times it's because that's who you used to be before you've accomplished whatever the thing is. In my case, building an online business and being able to run this for the last 5.5, 6 years at this point and doing over $3 million online. So what you want to do is you want to identify your avatar. I actually just made a video. I don't know if this video is going to go up first or the other video. So yeah, either posted it yesterday or I'm posting it tomorrow about how niches are dead and the importance of interest media. There's another phrase. I called it interest stacking in the video, is identifying what the interests of your avatar are. And really what you do is you look at yourself like, who am I? What are the things I love to do? What are the ways that I can relate to people? So this is a crazy niche. Again, I mentioned this in the video I just made prior to this, so that's why I kind of already had it pulled up. But look at the idea behind this video or this channel where the guy enjoys Call of Duty and enjoys talking about finance. So he just combined the two and people love it, right? Like he has this very unique niche or this very unique avatar of people who like gaming, but don't want to like just have someone rambling in the background about things they don't care about. They like gaming, but they want to hear about finance. So they combine the two and created a very intimate relationship with their avatar. Because if someone likes finance, they really like finance. If someone likes gaming, they really like gaming. And there are obviously levels of depth behind different interests, right? So again, I'm hitting this a little bit because I just did talk about this in the other video. But if you start thinking about interest stacking, you can, I'm a Doberman. I love my dog. Awesome dog. But like if there were like 10 levels and level 10 is like, level 10 for me is my Christian faith. It is like one of the most important things. It's one of the easiest ways and like deepest ways that I connect with another person is if they're Christian as well. Having a Doberman's probably on like level like 3. Having a Jeep back in the day was like a level 3. This was something that like if someone else had this, there's an immediate connection, but it's not quite as deep. Being a Duke fan that I've been my entire life, I've spent a lot of money on them. I've spent ridiculous amounts of time watching their game. I haven't missed a single game since like maybe early middle school. Most games I watch multiple times because I just love the sport and love Duke. That's like a 6 or 7 interest to me. So if you're a Duke fan, you and I are going to like jive on a whole different level. So identify these core parts of who you are and start to understand those things about your avatar, right? Like obviously for me, like the most important thing, the person I'm speaking to is trying to leave their 9-to-5 job. It's not just about making more money, though that's a byproduct. The first thing they want is time freedom in their life. They don't want to be stuck behind a cubicle. They don't want their children to be growing up without them being able to spend time and invest with them. They want more time with their spouse, and their life is being dictated by something outside of themselves. Their life is being dictated by having to be at a job 40, 50, 60 hours a week when they want to live life on their own terms. And then the obvious byproduct of that is they also want to earn a lot of money so that they have that freedom. So what I just encourage you to do is to deeply and intimately understand your avatar. There are multiple exercises we go through with our clients to make sure they understand this person, because every piece of copy you ever write, every video you ever make, you are talking to this person and helping them solve that core problem. And then we're going to interest stack around that. So someone comes in and that can help deepen the relationship as y'all find common interests. They don't have to have common interests, but as you stack those, it develops a deeper relationship with your avatar, who will then come back and watch a higher percentage of your videos. They'll buy a higher percentage of your stuff, and it'll give you the opportunity to help them at a greater and greater level. So that's part 1 of the 1-1-1 framework, is to deeply and intimately understand your avatar. Number 2 is one offer. Now, I will always recommend a high ticket offer. Even if you're early on, you've made $500 online, you're trying to scale to 10,000. Don't start with like a $20 a month offer. It is very hard to sell anything online, and you just can't convince me it's all that much harder to sell something for $20 than it is to sell something for $1,000. You certainly can't convince me that it's easier to sell 10 things for $100 than one thing for $1,000, because traffic and attention is just hard to come by. The only difference in selling a $10 item and a $100 item, or a $100 and a $1,000, is you just have to speak to a different avatar, right? Like if you're speaking to the right person, you just have to align your offer with the avatar. Like these two have to make sense together, right? Like if I am trying to sell a $5,000 course to someone who has $100 in their name, they're never going to buy it because they can't. If I'm trying to sell a $5,000 course to someone who has $5,000, they're probably not going to do it. And if they do, it's not good for them. Like I don't want to sell that to them because now they're broke, right? Like, but if I sell a $5,000 course to a multimillionaire, they're like, this isn't a big deal. Like they're going to view that as the exact same as someone who has $1,000 and buys something for 20. So we have to make sure these two things are associated, but when at all possible, please go with a high ticket offer. It is so much easier to sell 10 items at $1,000 to get to a consistent 10,000 a month than it is the other way. I also recommend this. Like you have to make sure you pick an avatar. They don't have to be rich, but they need to have money, right? Like they need to be able to spend. We don't want to sell things to people who don't have money to spend. First of all, because it's more difficult, but far more importantly, because it's not actually good for them. Right? Like that's what we want. Like we want to serve people. That's what you do as a business owner. You serve your customers. So we need to make sure these two things align. But the other reason is if you ever come onto our coaching program and we talk and we work together, we're going to talk about like, you have to have an avatar that has money, because eventually we are going to sell something high ticket, right? Like if our initial offer is $1,000, maybe we eventually sell a product or a service that is $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. And we're not going to sell as many of those, of course, but if we sell just a few, if you sell, 40, $20,000 packages, you made $1 million that year. And like over the course of a year, you can sell something 40 times. It's really not that difficult, especially once you follow the pattern that we built into our program, where that first 0 to 10,000 is all about stacking as many as possible of your ideal avatar, your ideal customer profile. You want to find as many people who deeply relate to you. You want to build a relationship with them. And over time, you're able to help them on deeper and deeper issues, and then make more and more money from them and solve more and more of their problems. So we need to make sure these things align. We want to make sure our one offer is priced high enough that it's not going to be incredibly hard, and we don't have to get tens of thousands of eyeballs just to do $10,000 a month. And finally, we want to pick a single traffic source. Now, this is a little difficult because things like TikTok and Instagram are obviously have so much potential, right? Like the ability to go viral on literally any video you make. We talked about this a little bit in the last video as well, that content has gone from social media to interest media. This is Gary Vaynerchuk's theory for a while, but we all see it in live action now, that it's no longer about like, they don't feed into your algorithm. They don't distribute into the algorithm based on people with high followings. They do it based on the quality of every individual piece of content. So for that reason, like you do have a chance with 0 followers on your first piece of content to go ultra viral. But ultra viral doesn't lead necessarily to sales. It obviously helps and never hurts. What you can do with YouTube is build a relationship with somebody. What I can do with YouTube is put out a video every day or every other day or every 3 days or 4 days consistently. And I can do long form videos. I can build a library where I am helping my ideal customer with every single issue that comes up in their life and in their business, to the point that I am the go-to person when they have a question or when they have an issue, and I'm able to help them solve it. So you're just able to build more of a relationship through long form than you are through anything else, which is why that every customer we work with, we mandate that they go through YouTube. And it's also just fun. Like honestly, building YouTube content is so much more fun than short form, at least in my opinion. But I heard the statistic once, and I don't know how accurate it is, but it kind of tracks based on my personal experience, that people typically watch an average of about 17 hours of your content in order to buy really high ticket packages. And high ticket would be about $10,000 and up. So, excuse me, I don't even know what the number is. If your short form content is 45 seconds long, and on average people watch 50%, how many videos would they have to watch? How many would you have to make in order for them to watch that much of your content and build a relationship with you through that way? As opposed to YouTube, where it's not difficult at all. I mean, a 10-minute video is incredibly normal on YouTube. Going 20, 30, 40 is not uncommon on YouTube. So you've probably experienced this. You just develop significantly deeper relationships with people doing long form than through short form. And you want to go back and watch their content because you know their perspective, you like their perspective. Maybe you connect on a handful of similar interests, or maybe they have expertise that you're trying to learn and gain and implement yourself. So if you really get these 3 things in place, what we tell our students are there's about 3 or 4 things that you have to do one time. You have to set up the funnel that your primary offer is going to live in. You have to set up your autoresponder for the initial sale and a little bit of back-end follow-up. And then you have to set up all your tracking. Once these things are set up, which is going to take you, 1 to 3, maybe a week, 1 to 3 days, maybe a week if you're newer. Once that's set up, all you have to do, you have to know your avatar, you have to know your offer, and then you just have to publish content. That's it. That's the entire business. And you can absolutely do it. Like, think how simple that actually is. I was thinking back to different businesses that I've run, and which ones we simplified and how we simplified them. One of my favorites was online arbitrage, and eventually I'll break down how we were doing $10,000 a month with online arbitrage. But really what we did is the exact same thing. Is we just simplified it down to its most basic core. And it was, you have to find profitable products, you have to buy profitable products, you have to ship those products in, and then you just have a few admin tasks on the back, right? Like you just have to make sure nothing breaks in the back. So you do those 4 things. The business is just that easy. Like it's that simple. Now, I don't conflate easy and simple because a lot of things can go wrong. You can make mistakes, and business is never easy, but it really can be simple. So let me just encourage you as we wind up this video. I know this was far more me rambling than going through a strategy, but if I could encourage you to do one thing, it would be to look at everything you are doing in your business and strip out everything that is not essential. Everything that you need in order to make money, actually just focus on doing the thing. And for most people at like that 0 to 10K mark, it just comes down to you need to publish more content. You don't need to go make a new funnel. You don't need to go find a new product. You don't need to go do a new offer. You don't need to go try a new traffic source. You need to pick one source, highly suggest YouTube, lock in on it and publish relentlessly until you're consistently doing 10K a month. And one of the best parts about YouTube is once you get to 10K, it really very quickly starts to become your floor. Like it's hard to go under that because YouTube is built to just slowly compound and compound and compound over time. If you're still struggling to get there, please do hop on a strategy call. You can find that link down in the description as well. I'd love to talk to you. We can talk through your business, see if there's anything we can do to maybe fix a bottleneck that you're currently having, and possibly even work together. We'll see if that makes sense for you and for us. And if you qualify, we would love to help you out in your journey. Not only get to those consistent 10K months, but then eventually scale up from that and do 50 to 100K. I know that sounds crazy right now, but I promise you, for 90% of people, if you can get to consistent 10K a month, it's really not that much more difficult getting to 50 to 100. It's just a different strategy. You just do a different thing, but the difficulty really doesn't change all that much. You're really just kind of upgrading your offer more than anything. But again, we can talk about that on the strategy call when you book it. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again in our next video.